how we came to be happy again.
Hey, Vinyl Community, Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records. I am going to give my response or my entry into Glenn Kellaway's Cheesy Albums contest. And if you're not familiar with Glenn's channel, it's got a great channel. He's doing a spotlight series on various artists. He's done his third one now. Let's see, he's done Mike Bloomfield is the current one he's doing. He's done Earl Scruggs, and he's done it escapes me off the top of my head, but three great artists that he's done so far. And check his channel out, especially his Spotlight series. And I think you'll enjoy what you see if you're not familiar with Glenn already. So he's trying to surpass the 300 subscribers mark, and he's well on his way. I think he'll do that in no time. First, what are we listening to now? Classic album, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu. And I, of course, already have this album. I picked this up in a collection I bought recently, and a little bit of damage right there, but nothing severe. And I cleaned it up, playing it, and it sounds flawless. Now, if it's going to be that flawless, I'll have to get my old 1970s album, one I bought, what's that, 45, 50 years ago. I have to get that out and play that and see which one plays better, and I'll keep the one that plays better, and I'll either give this to a fellow collector building their collection, or I'll put it out at my table at the Main Street markets here in town, where I have some records out for sale. Okay, so the premise of the contest is very simple. Cheesy albums or cheesy album covers. I guess you could interpret it either way. Mine are more or less cheesy covers. Some of the music's kind of cheesy too, but it's all enjoyable. And what I've done is I've just pulled them halfway out here in the collection behind me, and I'll just reach over and pull what I've got and show you the cover and tell you a little bit about it. Okay? So, I like this one. This is Jerry Cole, who was a session guitarist, and this comes from it's a mono record on Crown Records. If you're familiar with Crown, they put out budget records of various types over the years. From 1967, and this is a Go-Go Guitars, and I think this is a very cheesy cover. What do you think? I love it. I love it. Didn't have to spend a whole lot to put that one together. Graphic arts department probably didn't exist. Put a girl doing a little go-go dance, put an acoustic guitar here, and put the name on here, and you've got it. And it's actually a very good record. This is a very good guitarist. So the cheesy cover doesn't reflect the quality of music presented there. Okay? Slip that back in its protective cover. And I'm in this is C's, to the D's, I believe. C's and D's on this shelf, so that's where most of it's coming from. Oh, about this new, probably in 1980. Everybody, it's an import. Everybody probably knows, especially those punk rockers and stuff, Stiff Records. So this is an import on Stiff Records. Joe King Carrasco, and the Crowns. Look at that cover. The sticker there says import. And the back is no less cheesy. The Crown just does it for Joe. This is really quirky, fun music, enjoyable music. He actually had a hit MTV hit not too long after this, I believe. The year of this album is 1980, Stiff Records, and he plays guitar, but he uses an accordion in here. Sometimes so there's a heavy accordion on here, which gives it a cheesy appeal. Now, the budgets in country music were not nearly as extensive as they were for pop and rock there in the 70s and 80s when vinyl was king. Chester, you all right, buddy? And therefore, your graphics aren't nearly as good in a lot of the albums. You know, Keep It Simple is probably the best one. You try to get too elaborate, it's not going to work. Here's a great singer doing his best song, Rose Colored Glasses. That's the title of the album, John Conley. But let me tell you, this cover is awful. Cheesy. Okay. Look at that. A former mortician. That's what he did before he made it in the music industry. Still around, still singing, as far as I know. A really, really good singer. And Rose Colored Glasses is a great song. Well, let me see what else I've got. Okay. I'm always collecting local music. You can see it on my videos. If you watch many of them, you know that's true. And I found this one in a thrift shop. Signed, autographed, and everything from a band that played at the Sheridan Motor Inn in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville, not known for their music scene at all. Here we go. Check that one out. That's rather cheesy, I think. And the band were the Gold Tones, and the album is called By Request. And it's Don Mathis, Dave Pilizzari, sounds Italian there, and Rob Davis. And Dave is the guy in the center. He's the leader of the band, I believe. And this is a rather cheesy album, too. Recorded at Arthur Smith Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, where so many records were recorded over the years. James Brown recorded there, Porter Wagner. Arthur Smith, of course, famous for his 1950s hit Guitar Boogie, made a lot of money for decades with his studio, his weekly variety show that was syndicated all over the country, and he recorded so many people, including this little group here. So a little cheesy album from them. And I believe I've got one or two more. Let me see. Not on this side. Got something over here. Yeah, a couple of them over here. Intentionally cheesy. Comedy album put out by the Statler Brothers, country vocal group, and they had a comedy routine, real corny, real funny. We loved this album when we were teenagers, and it's live. You gotta do the right voice on this. Live at Johnny Mac Brown High School. Lester Roadhog Moran and his Cadillac Cowboys. And there's the Statler Brothers dressed up as Lester and the Cadillac Cowboys. A great, great comedy album. They parody themselves. They make fun of themselves, of the country music industry, and you know, all those bands out there trying to make it, playing on local radio stations, playing at the VFW, things like that, and some really great shots here. Just a cheesy album, a fun album, a great comedy record. And finally, a lot of people call this one cheesy. I really think it's I don't think it's cheesy, but a lot of people do when they cite cheesy record albums. This is one they show. I think it's sincere, in its own flawed way. But the Louvin brothers, Ira and Charlie, were very religious people, and Charlie especially battled demons. He backslid a lot. He had a lot of emotional problems and alcohol problems, and he died young in an auto accident, not as a result of his alcohol use or anything. It wasn't his fault, but they did a lot of gospel inspired music, and they again, as I mentioned, country music didn't have the budgets. They didn't sell records anything approaching what your pop and your rock artists were selling records at. Therefore, they didn't spend a lot. So they went out, Charlie and Ira went out, and they cut out plywood devil, painted it red, got a bunch of tires, and set the tires on fire and took their picture in front of this. The album, of course, as you know, I'm building up to it, but you probably already know it's Satan is Real, the Louvin brothers. And there is, some would say cheesy, some would say iconic, some would say sincere in their beliefs and wanting to send a message of salvation and the dangers of sin to everyone who might see and listen to this album. Satan is Real, the Louvin brothers. So, there are my cheesy record covers for Glenn's contest. Again, I'll put a link to Glenn's original video about the contest below, so check that out. If you feel so inclined, please subscribe. My channel is kind of a niche. It's not as mainstream as a lot of them, but sometimes you may find some of it interesting. So please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you watch my videos, but it won't make me cry if you don't. It's okay. To each their own, right? And I will remind everyone, be kind to your neighbors. Because, folks, we're all neighbors. We've got to get along in this world. Oh, no matter who you vote for, get out and vote. Election's coming up. It's important.
Again, back to the river again. It is a river of life. It